Do members of parliament have the moral fabric to check the executive as they're supposed to? Or are they singing Hosanna, like Kibagendi say?
What my good brother here is saying, I'm not in agreement with many of what he's talking about, because it looks like he actually has personal vendetta with the president. Because when Kibagendi says here that a ministry can be run even without ministers, so does he want to say that even his constituency can be run without a member of parliament, a county government can be run without governors? I mean, each and every...
But we are elected.
Each and
we are not
every
appointed.
person has their roles. So you cannot say that the government can be run without CSS. And again, the additional employees for the ministry will are CAS if the president and our government, we have seen and deemed that it is a good thing because of efficiency.
Yeah.
What would their problem be? And yet, issues to do with cost of living, issues to do with reducing the wage bill, it's already in place.
Wouldn't this
They do not, they are not, what he's not saying is that when fertilizers have been reduced to 2,500, isn't that a gesture to actually...
Sorry, no. You know, they have used this story of fertilizer for far too long. And we do not have the yields they have been talking about.
Okay.
That is a...
The yields right now, which country is Kibagendi in, whereas we have a bumper harvest right now.
It's all right.
People are in the North Rift and the areas where maize and wheat is being produced.
That's fine. Biago, the question is, wouldn't the appointment of chief administrative secretaries increase our wage bill as a country?
No, what I'm just saying is that even if it increases and it is necessary for efficiency and would yield more, what would the problem be?
But up until now, they've not been appointed and the ministry...
Well, they have not been appointed because of the court case.
Yes,
but hadn't there been...
running.
Yes, they've been running, but who tells you they've been running effectively? Maybe they've not been running effectively. They would be running more effectively with the CASs on board. If you're in a family, you can stay there without your wife. But being on board, it makes work much easier. Some guys argue that if you can live alone, even the women who are not married sometimes say that they can live without men. But of course, it is dented. It was not going to be like you are two. Two heads are better than one. So we cannot say categorically that the CSS are going to add on the wage bill, whereas you're not saying that they could be actually the source and solution of many of the inefficiencies in the ministries.
Okay,
yes.
Fair point. But what about members of parliament? Because you also mentioned that members of parliament will definitely pass this because you have no spine to stand against.
No, what Kibagendi is saying here, my brother is saying here, is what is convenient for him. As we are independent-minded, the only thing that Kibagendi doesn't know is that we are one family. We have to agree. We went to campaign on a platform that and a manifesto that we all believed in. Probably Kibagendi and others who don't believe in that manifesto will see it differently. So when there are issues and critical issues to be discussed, we will go to the round table, discuss the issues, and come up with a common ground. And that is why the opposition usually see as though the parliament has been held captive. But what they are forgetting and what they do not know is that because we are reading almost from the same script, and we have to agree. We have to come onto a level that all of us, we have agreed that this is the direction to go.
So is this agreement in the echelons of power, or is it related to what the people want? It is a fair position that, yes...
Of course it is what the people want, because we are the representative of people.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you take their considerations into question, or do you just agree as the executive and legislature and go with whatever you want?
No, of course, you know, we, as I've told you, we are the representatives of the people. And we are representing their interest. So whenever a member of parliament accepts or disagrees with some things that are being discussed, then it means that you are representing the interests of those people, and those people saw that it was you who was the best candidate to represent their interests. Okay. So whenever you are speaking or whenever whatever you are doing for the best interest of the people.
Okay. Kibagendi, this chief administrative position was introduced in the previous government. What is so wrong having it now?
But
yes, we are going through a tough time.
So long as
agreed, but it is part of the system. So why is it such a?
It is not part of the system. When the drafters of the Constitution and those who passed it thought it wasn't prudent to have deputy cabinet secretaries, it should remain as such. And we later appointed them, and the courts pronounced themselves on it. And the President, that was President Uhuru Kenyatta's government. We later had President William Ruto again do the public participation and what have you. Still, the courts have said no. Why should we insist? And now insist in a period that we are undergoing a very difficult season in our country. And you know, my brother here needs to realize that a bulk of our population is in the bottom rung of the economic ladder. And focus should be to try and get them out of that rug. And he needs to also remember, I am one of the drafters of the UDA manifesto. And there's nowhere in the UDA manifesto we envisioned to come into power, increase taxes, increase levies on everything, and swindle Kenyans of their taxes. Mm-hmm. That is not what the Kwanza manifesto envisioned, unless they edited it after I left. And they ought to have told Kenyans the truth then. While I appreciate and have tremendous respect for the president for literally mentoring me in politics, I have nothing personal against him, like my brother is saying here. It is purely the role I was elected to perform. And we are checking the government. And there are certain areas I can say they have kind of done something that we need to appreciate them. Okay. Although it hasn't been effective. Yeah? When they go wrong, there is nothing wrong with us playing our role and telling them to correct the wrongs they are doing. Our role is to oversight the executive, including yourself.
Correct.
You are not supposed to continually clap for the president, even when he's taking us down the drain. Like for these particular positions, what we need to do at this point is to hold back. Okay. He keeps saying the economy will change. Once the economy changes, once things improve, then he can go ahead and appoint his friend.
All right, I have to take a quick break. We're back with much more in just a bit. Keep your views coming at Trevor Media to Citizen TV Kenya. Use the hashtag Daybreak. We're back in just a bit. We have a few more topics to go through. We have no money for CDF for salaries, says Ndumu. Let's talk about that right after this.